Hi, I know it's been a while, but today we are diving deep into a book that has sparked countless conversations, debates, and even personal reflection for people around the globe, especially for the people of the West. And the book that I'm talking about is 12 Rules of Life, that is by Jordan Peterson, and Antidote to Chaos. This is the first book, there's second book too, Beyond Order. I have not read it yet. But today we are talking about the first book, the 12 Rules. Okay, you will see. Let's know something about Peterson first. He's a professor. He's a clinical psychologist. His principles are rooted in psychology, mythology, religion, and his hard-earned clinical experience. Caution is the book is not about quick fixes or blind positivity. It's more about confronting the inherent suffering that life gives us and finding meaning despite it. And our goal here is not just to list the rules, but to decode them, to explore the psychological depth that Peterson brings in the book, back it up where he does with science and observation from the text itself, and figure out how we can practically apply these ideas and the laws in our own lives. Given the depth of the book, we will break this down in four parts. Each part will include three laws. So grab a coffee, whiskey, or whatever you drink or eat, and let's explore the first law. The first rule, I mean. So the first rule is stand up straight with your shoulders back. See, right from the first rule, Peterson hits us with something that sounds super simple. Stand up straight with your shoulders back. सुनने में लगता है जैसे कोई पोस्चर टिप हो जो आपके पेरेंट्स आपको दे रहे हो, सीधे खड़े रहो, कंधे झुकाओ मत, एक्सेट्रा. So see, but this rule goes way deeper than just posture, because ये रूल एक माइंडसेट है, एक साइकोलॉजिकल और बायोलॉजिकल स्टेटमेंट है दैट हाउ यू फेस द लाइफ इटसेल्फ. Peterson starts by giving a lobster analogy, a 350 million year old wisdom. Peterson starts the surprising example of the lobster. अब आप सोच रहे होंगे कि lobster और human का आपस में क्या लेना देना है भाई? But see, that's exactly the point. Lobsters have existed for more than 350 million years. They are older than trees, older than dinosaurs. But इतने पुराने creatures भी hierarchy में जीते हैं. Who's on top, who's below, who will get what territory. So जो hierarchy है ना actually is not man-made, it's biological, it's ancient and wired into the life itself. अब जब जो लॉबस्टर्स फाइट करते हैं अपनी टेरिटरी के लिए, तो जो विनर लॉबस्टर होता है उसके ब्रेन में सेरोटोनिन लेवल बढ़ता है, कॉन्फिडेंस हार्मोन. इट स्टैंड्स टॉल, नो क्लॉज ओपन, चेस्ट लिफ्टेड. और जो लूजर लॉबस्टर होता है ना उसके ब्रेन में सेरोटोनिन गिर जाता है और ऑक्टोपमिन बढ़ जाता है, जिससे वो स्लम्प कर जाता है, पीछे हट जाता है, डिफीटेड लगता है. एंड दैट्स द क्रेजी पार्ट दैट ह्यूमंस रिएक्ट द सेम वे when we face repeated failures, humiliation, or things like that. Our serotonin also drops. Now, we start to hunch over, feel anxious, avoid eye contact. When we achieve something, serotonin increases, confidence हमारा वापस आ जाता है. अब पीटरसन ने ये भी लिखा है कि एंटी डिप्रेसेंट ड्रग्स जो होते हैं, जो ह्यूमंस में सेरोटोनिन बढ़ाती है, वो लॉबस्टर्स को भी चीयर अप कर देती है. अब दिस मीन दैट कि जो डोमिनेंस का जो ये सर्कल है ना, दिस होल स्टैंड टॉल और क्रम्बल मैकेनिज्म, इट इज ओल्डर देन ह्यूमैनिटी इटसेल्फ. टू decode this rule, I will say it's not just about the posture. So when Peterson says कि stand up straight with your shoulders back, chest lifted, वो कह रहे हैं face life voluntarily. Don't curl up in fear or helplessness. Don't live like a loser, a defeated lobster. देखो सी जो होता क्या है ना, जब हम लोग स्लम्प करते हैं, शोल्डर्स डाउन, चेस्ट क्लोज्ड, आंखें नीचे, हम अपने ब्रेन को सिग्नल देते हैं यहाँ पे कि आई कैंट हैंडल वॉट एवर इज कमिंग टू मी, वॉट एवर आई एम फेसिंग इट, आई कैंट हैंडल इट. सो आवर नर्वस सिस्टम लिटरली बिलीव्स दैट वी हैव लॉस्ट, एंड देन अ विशियस साइकिल स्टार्ट्स. लो पोस्चर लीड्स टू लो सेरोटोनिन, मोर एंजाइटी, more withdrawal, less confidence. But to the opposite of it, when we stand tall, shoulders back, eyes forward, you send the opposite message that I am ready to face whatever is coming, and your body chemistry supports that. Serotonin increases, confidence builds, and so see the posture जो होती है ना is not just physical, it's what can I say? It's existential. Okay, now it's your way of telling life, bring it on. I'm ready to face whatever is coming towards me. And the psychology behind this rule is to, I will say, what should I say? The psychology behind is कि जब तुम लोग chest खोल के अपनी shoulders forward, shoulders back, chest forward, चेस्ट नॉट सो फॉरवर्ड, चेस्ट लिफ्टेड, आई मीन ओके, हम लोग कॉन्फिडेंटली फेस करते हैं ना, तो लोग आपको अलग ट्रीट करते हैं, दे विल रिस्पेक्ट यू मोर, दे विल टॉक टू यू डिफरेंटली, एंड मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंटली यू विल स्टार्ट टू बिलीव दैट यू डिजर्व दैट रिस्पेक्ट. दिस इज रियली इंपॉर्टेंट, दैट यू शुड बिहेव, सो यू शुड बिलीव योरसेल्फ दैट यू डिजर्व सम रिस्पेक्ट. लेकिन हरकतें भी आपकी वैसी होनी चाहिए, बट स्टिल अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट इन जनरल व्यू, एंड इट्स लाइक you reprogram your own brain. Peterson says कि to stand tall is to accept the terrible responsibility of life with eyes wide open. अब इसका मतलब है कि देखो सी लाइफ टफ है, हाँ, सफरिंग है, हाँ, अनफेयर है, हाँ, इनजस्टिस है 100%, पर सी यू आर नॉट हाइडिंग फ्रॉम इट, यू आर फेसिंग इट वॉलंटरली. अब जब आप अपने स्टैंस चेंज करते हो, दुनिया के साथ आपका रिलेशनशिप भी चेंज हो जाता है. आई हैव रेड सम articles and clinical research on this. I will paste the link in the description. You may read it if you want to. एक 2017 की स्टडी थी, हेल्थ साइकोलॉजी जर्नल में पब्लिश हुई थी. रिसर्चर्स ने पाया जो लोग स्ट्रेसफुल सिचुएशंस में कॉन्शियसली अपराइट पोस्चर मेंटेन करते हैं, उनकी सेल्फ स्टीम और मूड हायर होते हैं, एंजाइटी कम होती है कंपेयर टू दोज हु स्लाउच. और एक एम्बॉडीड कॉग्निशन रिसर्च है, वो भी ये कहती है कि बॉडी लैंग्वेज डज नॉट जस्ट रिफ्लेक्ट इमोशन, इट क्रिएट्स इट. अब जब आप खड़े होते हो सीधे चेस्ट ओपन, तो आपका जो कॉर्टिसोल लेवल है, जिसको हम लोग स्ट्रेस हार्मोन कहते हैं, वो कम होते हैं. टेस्टोस्टेरोन लेवल जो कि डोमिनेंस हार्मोन होता है, वो इंक्रीज होता है. यू लिटरली बिकम मोर कामर, मोर केपेबल. तो साइंस भी भाई यहाँ कह रहे हैं कि स्टैंड अप स्ट्रेट इज नॉट जस्ट मेटाफोरिकल, इट्स बायोकेमिकल. नाउ द थिंग इज, important part is to understand the practical applicability. You get the point. Practical application of it. So उसे apply कैसे करें इस रूल को? This is the most important part. I will say start with the body. Whenever you wake up, stretch, breathe, shoulders back, spine straight. Do this before any important meeting, before a tough conversation. You will feel that shift instantly. I've heard Andrew Huberman talk about these things quite often. Second, move your actions. And then this is not, I'm not saying this just to whoever is watching. I'm saying this to myself too, because even I am working. I mean, the practical applicability, the practical application of what I learn is quite low. This is, I'm telling to myself too, these things. So take responsibility for one small thing. Clear your desk, finish that pending work, make that tough call. हर छोटी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेने से आप अपनी इनर हायरार्की में एक लेवल ऊपर चढ़ते हो, वन स्टेप एट अ टाइम. फेसिंग समथिंग वॉलंटरली, कुछ ऐसा जिससे आप डर रहे हो, टॉक टू द पर्सन, अप्लाई फॉर दैट पर्टिकुलर जॉब, और स्टार्ट द प्रोजेक्ट, और वट एवर यू वांट टू स्टार्ट बट यू हैव नॉट येट. So each voluntary act strengthens that upright posture inside and out. Okay. For an example, suppose two people are walking out of a job interview. एक है जिसका posture slumped है, eyes down, shoulders forward. दूसरा है जिसका stance open है, calm है, confident है, but both of them gave equally good answers. But see, guess what? Interviewer subconsciously remembers the second one as more competent. The reason being, the brain, even our and theirs, reads posture as a proxy for confidence and capability. This is the primordial calculator that Peterson talks about in the book. It is the ancient internal mechanism constantly ranking where we stand in the social hierarchy. And when you stand tall, you are literally updating that calculator. So telling your brain that you belong higher, you belong to top of the pyramid. Okay. So let's understand that this rule is not about arrogance. Don't take it the wrong way. It's not about pretending to be superior. It's about readiness to take life heads on. Standing up straight with your shoulders back is your body's way of saying कि हाँ, life difficult है, but I will not be a victim. I will face it voluntarily. It's a very small act, but इसका impact जो है यार काफ़ी huge है, सच में काफ़ी huge है. And I used to slouch sometimes unconsciously, but I worked on it, and yes, it does make a difference for sure. It changes not just how the world sees you, but how you see yourself. So next time, before you step outside, step in the world, shoulders back, chest open, eyes forward, because the posture of our body becomes the posture of our soul. ये मैंने कहीं से छापा है. Okay, so rule number 2. Let's move forward to rule number 2. I hope you understand everything about rule number 1. Rule number 2. Yes. Treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. This rule is Peterson's most profound and honestly one of the hardest to live by. He begins with a strange but true paradox. Most people take better care of others. It will be their pets, their children, their friends, even random acquaintances than they do of themselves. See, आप सोचिए कि आपका पेट बीमार हो गया, अब आप उसे टाइम पे दवा दोगे, उसका ख्याल रखोगे, लेकिन जब बात आपके खुद की आएगी, अपने हेल्थ की आएगी, अपने चेकअप की आएगी, अपनी डाइट, अपनी स्लीप की आएगी, वी टेंड टू इग्नोर दैट. And we must have seen this pattern in our parents, in our loved ones. So Peterson asks, ऐसा क्यों करते हैं हम लोग? Why do we act like we are less worthy of others, less worthy of care than others? So Peterson here gives a biblical foundation to it. To explain this, Peterson goes back to one of the oldest story in the human consciousness. According to Christian mythology, the story of Adam and Eve, the story of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, I think. So before the fall, Adam and Eve were naked but unashamed. They did not have self-consciousness. They existed naturally with harmony. But when they ate that fruit from, I think it was tree of knowledge of good and evil, something like that, everything changed. What was the first thing that they realized? First, the nakedness, their vulnerability. They suddenly saw themselves as flawed, fragile, mortal beings. So Peterson कहते हैं this is the birth of human self-awareness, and with it same and self-contempt comes. हम humans अपने flaws को, अपनी darkness को, अपनी गलतियों को बहुत clearly देख सकते हैं, and we all know this, and we are very much aware of it. We just tend to ignore the fact, and we know exactly how we can be hurt, and tragically that also means that we know how to hurt others. शादी के बाद okay, so that is the knowledge of good and evil here. Animals जो होते हैं, they act on instinct, but we humans, we can choose cruelty intentionally. We can inflict pain knowingly, and because we understand कि darkness, हम अपने अंदर की darkness को हम लोग जानते हैं, we also judge ourselves, and sometimes too harshly. Peterson कहते हैं कि deep down हम खुद से disgusted feel करते हैं because we know our capacity of failure, laziness, deceit, and even evil. So subconsciously we believe we don't deserve care. It's easier to love a dog, which is who is innocent, pure, sometimes not so innocent, they will bite your ass off, than to love ourselves. We know our own corruption. But here's the hope. That is the divine spark that Peterson talks about here. He reminds of us something even older than the fall. He quoted some Genesis 1, I think, where God looks at creation and says, it is good. That means despite our flaws, our weaknesses, हमें एक divine spark है, something sacred, creative, capable of bringing order out of chaos. We are made in the image of God. So to mistreat yourself is to betray that divine potential inside you. That is what Peterson says. So जब हम अपने आप को neglect करते हैं, when we overwork, overeat, self-sabotage, ignore our health, ignore the truth, we are not just hurting ourselves. हम उन लोगों को भी अफेक्ट कर रहे हैं जो हम पे डिपेंड करती है, हमारी फैमिली, हमारे फ्रेंड्स, हमारे लव्ड वंस, हमारी सोसाइटी. सो पीटरसन सेज कि ट्रीटिंग योरसेल्फ इज नॉट सेल्फिश, इट्स अ मोरल ड्यूटी, बिकॉज अ ब्रोकन, बिटर पर्सन can't truly help anyone else, can't truly help anyone else, neither their friends, neither their the society, no one, because he is broken himself. Okay, so सेल्फ कॉम्पैशन जो होता है ना, मॉडर्न साइकोलॉजी भी एक्चुअली सपोर्ट करती है इसे. देयर वाज अ रिसर्च बाय डॉक्टर डॉक्टर नफ एंड अदर्स कि सेल्फ कॉम्पैशन कैसे shows that treating yourself with same kindness you would give a friend leads to lower stress, less anxiety and better emotional resilience. एक स्टडी है जो लोग अपने आप से थोड़ा काइंडनेस से बात करते हैं इंस्टेड ऑफ हार्श क्रिटिसिज्म, उनका जो मूड होता है, उनका मोटिवेशन होता है, दोनों इंप्रूव होते हैं. सो पीटरसन्स पॉइंट इज सिंपल कि टेक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी फॉर योर ओन वेलबींग इन द सेम वे यू वुड डू फॉर समवन यू लव. मतलब अगर आप अपने दोस्त को डॉक्टर के पास भेजते हो, उसको मोटिवेट करते हो टू ईट बेटर, टू स्लीप बेटर, टू एक्सरसाइज, तो आप अपने लिए भी वही करो. मतलब सिर्फ ज्ञान मत दो, खुद भी अप्लाई करो. which I do tend to do a lot. Okay, you are not doing yourself just a favor, you are fulfilling a moral responsibility here. To decode this rule, I'll say self-care firstly is not self-indulgence. Peterson यहाँ warn भी करते हैं कि self-care is not about making yourself happy in the short term. It's about doing what's genuinely good for you in the long run. और ठीक होता क्या है कि अगर एक बच्चे को हर बार आप एक कैंडी दो तो वो खुश होगा, बट इट्स नॉट गुड फॉर हिम. सिमिलरली हर बार अपनी शॉर्ट टर्म कंफर्ट चूज करना, लाइक स्किपिंग वर्कआउट्स, लाइंग, प्रोक्रेस्टिनेटिंग, ये सेल्फ केयर नहीं है, ये सेल्फ सैबोटेज की कैटेगरी में आता है. सो रियल सेल्फ केयर का मतलब हुआ ट्रीटिंग योर सेल्फ लाइक समवन हुज ग्रोथ मैटर्स. जैसे एक रिस्पॉन्सिबल पेरेंट अपने बच्चे को गाइड करते हैं, थोड़े स्ट्रिक्ट भी होते हैं, थोड़े केयरिंग भी होते हैं, वैसे ही अपने साथ नेगोशिएट करो. अगेन, नॉट एज अ टायरेंट, not as a slave to your own impulses. Okay, and again the important part is to apply this particular rule. For that, firstly ask yourself what's truly good for you now, not what you want right now, but what will make you stronger, healthier and more capable in the long run. अपनी लाइफ के गोल्स और वैल्यूज लिखो कहीं पे, मे बी अ जर्नल और समथिंग. व्हाट आर यू एमिंग फॉर? Make some promises and keep those promises to yourself. जैसे आप किसी क्लोज फ्रेंड से प्रॉमिस तोड़ना नहीं चाहोगे, वैसे ही आप अपने साथ भी ऑनेस्ट रहो. एंड दिस इज रियली मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट कि सी आप दूसरों से झूठ बोल लिया करो, वो एक बार को चलता है, खुद से झूठ बोलना दिस इज नॉट गुड. सो अगर बोला है कि ठीक है सुबह उठ के यार जिम हिट करना है तो करो. स्मॉल विंस बिल्ड सेल्फ ट्रस्ट, छोटे छोटे स्टेप्स लो. डिसिप्लिन इज इंपॉर्टेंट, ये मैं खुद को भी कह रहा हूँ. डिसिप्लिन इज नॉट पनिशमेंट, इट्स केयर इन अ स्ट्रक्चर्ड फॉर्म. जो आप खुद के लिए रूल्स बनाते हो, यू आर बिल्डिंग द फाउंडेशन ऑफ अ केपेबल लाइफ. समझे ऐश्वर्य? यस. एंड अगेन फॉर ऑल द थिंग्स दैट आई हैव स्टेटेड, वी हैव टू थिंक लॉन्ग टर्म. Treating our body, mind, time as a valuable asset, because they truly are. ट्रू सेल्फ रिस्पेक्ट जो होती है ना, दैट ग्रोज फ्रॉम कंसिस्टेंसी, कॉन्शियस केयर. से इधर से एग्जाम्पल, इमेजिन योर बेस्ट फ्रेंड इज मिजरेबल, टायर्ड, अनहेल्दी, ओवरवर्कड, ही हैज ED. I don't know. Okay, so what do you tell them? Probably get some rest, eat something proper, take a break, talk to someone. आप अपने आप से पूछो क्या आप अपने साथ वैसा ही बिहेव करते हो, वैसा ही व्यवहार करते हो? सो ऑनेस्टली द मोस्टली द आंसर विल बी नो. वी सॉ कंपैशन आउटवर्ड बट हार्शनेस इनवर्ड. पीटरसन कहते हैं कि इसको आप रिवर्स करो. बी एज पेशेंट, एज रैशनल एंड एज फेयर विथ योरसेल्फ एज यू वुड बी विथ somebody you deeply care about, because at the end of the day you are someone you are responsible for. So in this rule, treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping. This rule is not about vanity, luxury or selfishness. Okay. It's about respecting the part of you that's capable of good, that divine sparks that Peterson talks about, that can bring order out of chaos. And when you truly start to take care of yourself physically, mentally, morally, you are not just improving your own life. You are not improving your own life. You are becoming the kind of person who can carry more responsibility, who can help others, and who can make the world a little more orderly. So you have a moral obligation to take care of yourself, because see, the world depends on the best version of you. So starting today, take some small act of care toward yourself, not because you feel like it, but because it's the right thing to do. Okay, so here goes the second rule. Hope you understand the gist of it. I don't know, whatever I'm telling you is the excerpt of the whole rule. You don't have to read any more of it. Again, if you want to, please read it. It will be still better. I am also learning how to explain things better, etc. Now let's move forward to rule 3. This will be the last rule for the video. And a script likhna is a very tedious task, honestly. Very tedious task. To structure in a format, it is very tedious. खैर हाँ, rule 3, and that is make friends with people who want the best for you. Peterson starts this chapter with memories from the small hometown, that is Fairview, Alberta. Not Alberta, Alberta. He talks about his friends, Chris, Ed, who are intelligent, sensitive kids who somehow started sliding downwards into nihilism, drugs, self-destruction. और फिर वो कहते हैं कि देयर वे अदर्स डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ फ्रेंड्स जो ऊपर की तरफ एम कर रहे थे, हु वांटेड टू डू समथिंग मीनिंगफुल, एंड जस्ट बीइंग अराउंड देम पुल्ड हिम अपवर्ड. Now, see, this contrast saved Peterson's realization that the direction of your friends often decides the direction of your life. हम लोगों ने अपने माता पिता से कितनी बार सुना है कि जैसी संगत वैसी रंगत. It's a very similar thing here, you know. And see, why we tend to choose wrong friends, no? Because we choose good company, but Peterson asks, why don't? Okay, let's skip that part. That will be confusing. Okay, he borrowed actually concept from Freud, Sigmund Freud. Repetition compulsion. मतलब we are unconsciously drawn to recreate old pain. Maybe we had chaos or rejection in the past, and we keep choosing people who repeated that pattern. और sometimes हम एक rescuer बनने की कोशिश करते हैं. We think I can save this person. That is why we make bad friends. Peterson warn करते हैं यहाँ पर कि that's not often pure kindness. It's disguised narcissism. We wanted to feel good about being the hero without doing the real hard work of fixing ourselves. We even reference, he even referenced Dostoevsky's Notes from Underground, where the protagonist जो होता है, he helps people not out of love, but because it makes him feel morally superior. Peterson adds a sharp insight here कि introducing one self-destructive person into a healthy group rarely uplifts that person. Instead, it often pulls the whole group down. Because down is easier than up. Physics पढ़ा होगा तो आपको पता होगा, मैंने तो नहीं पढ़ा है. खैर तो let that joke slide please, it was bad. So to decode this particular rule, Peterson says that your social circle shapes your trajectory. Your friends are not just companions, they are psychological forces shaping your future. People who are aiming down, जो अपनी लाइफ में नेगेटिविटी और रिजेंटमेंट लेकर जीते हैं, they will drag you down with them, not because they hate you, because but because your growth reminds them of their stagnation. They might mock your discipline, hand you a drink when you are trying to quit, give you a smoke when you are trying to quit, or make you feel guilty for doing better for yourself. So true friendship here, Peterson says that it is reciprocal arrangement. It's not about blind loyalty, it's about mutual growth. Actually, you are not actually morally obligated to support someone who is actively making the world worse. A friend, a real friend, wants to see you win, and your success inspires them to win too. Peterson काफी अच्छे से लिखते हैं यहाँ पे एक चीज कि your friends should be people whose lives would be improved if they saw your life improve. Now, there is a science behind peer influence. Modern psychology से प्रूव करती है, तो 2024 की स्टडी थी on students who found that positive peer relationship directly boost motivation, performance and well-being. Another review showed that supportive friendships जो होती हैं, they reduce depression, increases self-esteem and happiness. और ये बात सिर्फ स्कूल या कॉलेज तक के लिए नहीं है. सोशल नेटवर्क में हमारा बिहेवियर contagious होता है. If a close friend starts exercising, there's a high chance you will start that too. And see, if they become more positive, that energy spreads. एक क्लासिक हार्वर्ड की स्टडी है, उसमें बताया गया था कि happiness literally spreads through social links. So when Peterson says कि choose your friends wisely, it is not philosophy, it's neuroscience and behavioral science. And to apply this particular rule practically, of course, firstly, audit your circle. It is important. अपने आसपास के लोगों को देखो. Do they push you to grow or to make it comfortable? Or do they push you to be stuck at the same point where you are? Ask yourself honestly, would I recommend this particular person who is my friend to my younger brother or child as a friend? If not, why am I keeping them close? Next, recognize that reciprocity. फ्रेंडशिप मीन्स गिव एंड टेक. क्या आप सिर्फ सुन रहे हो या उनसे भी सपोर्ट मिलता है? रियल फ्रेंड्स डोंट जस्ट कंज्यूम योर एनर्जी, दे रिफ्यूल इट. And don't confuse helping with enabling. This is important because helping someone who truly wants to change is good, but staying around someone who refuses to change is self-destruction, self-sabotage. Peterson says that you cannot lift a person who does not want to stand. Like you cannot wake up a person who is acting to sleep. Acting to sleep. So, and also seek those who aim high. This is also very important because surround yourself with people who are building, learning, trying. It's harder, yes, because they will challenge you, but that is exactly what will make you grow. This example of 5 people rule. It's a famous saying that you are the average of the 5 people you will spend the most time with. अगर आपके closest friends complain करने वाले हैं, lazy हैं, negative हैं, तो आप भी वैसे ही बनोगे. But if they read, exercise, dream big and hold you accountable, you will rise with them. Now, see, होता क्या नहीं? Good friends hold you to a higher standard. They remind you of what you can be. Bad friends comfort your lowest self and keep you there. So, this rule is not about social preference. It's about moral direction. And to choose friend who want to who want the best for you is to choose life over decay, growth over stagnation. So it takes courage to walk away from people who drag you down, and even more they give you the courage to stand beside who expect the best from you. Associate yourself with people who whose life would be improved if they saw your life improve. Because real friends does not make you feel good, they become they make you become good. And when you surround yourself with that, and when you surround yourself with that kind of energy, you don't just change your life, you might change your future. Actually कितना इट्स वेरी आयरॉनिकल कि जो चीज़ें हम लोग अपने पेरेंट्स से बचपन से सुनते आ रहे हैं, अपनी संगत सुधारो, अपने अच्छे दोस्तों को बनाओ, जिसके साथ मत घूमो. And technically this is the exact thing with some scientific evidence put out in the book. Okay, our parents are somewhere a good psychologist. Why am I saying that? Okay, bye. This is the first three rules actually. There will be 3 more parts where I will in upcoming 3 more parts I will conclude the whole book. I will pin all the journals or scientific studies or clinical trials or research in the description box. If you want to, if you wish to, you might, or you just read them. It's beneficial. That is all that I have to say today. Bye.